Hello, friends. I'm Mrs. Hughes, and I will be working with you today, reading our story that you heard yesterday from a good friend of mine. So, as I read today, I went ahead. It's the story My Friends by Taro Gami. I went ahead and turned to page 3. I want you to pay attention as I read today. I have 3 things that I want you to think about as we read. First, I want you to pay attention. As I read, I'm going to use my handy dandy pointer. I'm going to tap under each word as I read it. This is very important when you read because it's important to remember the word that you're reading, the word that you see on the page and that you're pointing to, needs to match the word that you say. So if I'm pointing to the word I need to say the word I. And then I'll go to the next word and it says learned. I tap once underneath that word and I say the word learned. It matches the words that I'm saying. We will practice that in just a minute. The second thing I want you to think about as we read today is what does the author want us to learn from the story? What message is he trying to tell us? So when we read stories, there are lessons to be learned in the story. So it's important to really think about that as you read. And one more thing, it's the third thing. The last thing I want you to do as we read today, sometimes throughout the story, I'm going to pause and I'm not going to say anything. And I want you to read the word. So I'll tap underneath the word and I want you to read it. Okay? And when I want you to read it, I'm going to hold up a star. So I'm going to have 2 things. I'm going to be pointing and I'll be reading along and then I'll stop, hold up the star, and that will tell you that you need to fill in the word that's there. Are you ready for this? Okay, here we go. So the first thing I want to do with you is practice really quickly the importance of matching the words that we read to the words that we say. I'm going to read page 3, and I want you to notice how I tap under each word. I learned to walk from my friend the cat. So let's count the words in the sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many words are in that sentence? 9, right. So when I read, I'm only going to tap 9 times because there are only 9 words and you only tap once for each word. I learned to walk from my friend the cat. I want you to notice that as I read today. So let's get started and let's go to the front cover and let's read this book. And remember, as I'm reading, think about the message that he's trying to teach you, the author, and also pay attention when I pause, when I don't say anything, and I hold up my star. That means you need to read the word that I'm pointing to. Get it? Got it good? All right, let's go. All right, friends, we are at the front cover of the book we're going to read together today. Do you remember what I asked you to do while I was reading? Yes, that's right. I want you to make sure you're following along and watching as I point to each word. I want you to think about the meaning or the message that the author's trying to teach you with this story. And I also want you to be aware, it means pay attention to when I stop reading and I point to a word, that means it's your turn to read that word. So you read it out loud at home. Here we go. You got your thinking caps on? You ready to roll? You watching? Are you listening? You thinking? Here we go. My Friends by Taro Gami. My Friends by Taro Gami. Here's where the story starts. I learned to walk from my friend the cat. Did you do it? Good job. I learned to jump from my friend the dog. You're right. I learned to climb from my friend the monkey. And there's the monkey. And there she is. I learned to run from my friend the horse. I learned to march from my friend the rooster. Some of you say chicken. You're using your picture clues, but it's important to look at the first letter of the word. Rooster. I learned to nap from my friend the crocodile. Do you see that? It starts with a C-R. Crocodile. I learned to smell the flowers from my friend the butterfly. I learned to hide from my friend the rabbit. Did you use your picture clue? And did you use your knowledge of the beginning sound? Rabbit, not bunny. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. Keep up the hard work. I learned to explore the earth from my friend the ant. I learned to kick from my friend the gorilla. See the G? Gorilla. I learned to watch the night sky from my friend the owl. There's the word. I said the word. Also notice the picture. I learned to sing from my friends the birds. I learned to read from my friends the what? Yeah, the books. See, she has a book out. She has some books on the shelf. That's different from the other things that she's learned from. So how is the thing the girl learned from on this page different from the things that she learned from on the other pages? Yes, the other pages were animals. They were living things. In this page, she learned from a book. They're not living things. It's not an animal. It's a non-living thing. Why do you think she calls books her friends? They're fun to read, and she learns from the books. They teach her things. Yes. Do you love books? Do you love reading? Books are friends. They teach us things. and we learn from them, right? I learned to study from my friends, the teachers. I didn't pause on that one. All kinds of teachers. And you learn to study from us. I learned to play from my friends at school. I learned to love from a friend like you. There's the back cover. Boys and girls, hope you enjoyed reading My Friends by Taro Gami with me today. He taught us something from this book. He taught us a lesson. Theme. This book has a theme. That's the fancy word. What lesson did he teach us, the author? What did we learn from this story? Yes. Tell an adult in your house or a kid that's with you. Tell them what you learned from this story. Do you know what I learned from this story? I learned that it's important to pay attention to your friends and things around you because you can learn different things from different people. And it's really cool to learn new things. It's also neat to learn from others that are around you. So when you're at school or at home, you can learn different things from different people or different things like animals or books. She learned from a variety of things in this story. Before we finish up today, I'd like to practice a couple of important skills. And it's really good for you to use the books that you're reading to practice reading skills. Well, I'm going to read this sentence on page 3, and I want you to listen very carefully for the sound k. You make that sound. All right. K. Now listen for it. I'm going to read. I learned to walk from my friend the cat. Did you hear the k sound in that sentence? How many times did you hear it? 2. The word walk, it ends with that sound. And the word cat, it begins with that sound. Great work. Now let's turn to a new page and practice another skill. All right, on this page, we're going to practice the skill of listening for important words that we hear a lot. We've been practicing these words. You can see I've put them above the book. Let's read them together. A, I, my, thee, to, you. I want you to listen for these words as I read this sentence. I learned to jump from my friend the dog. Did you hear some of the words? I heard the word I. It's right there and there. I heard the word to. I heard and I read the word my. Matches this one. And the word the or the. Matches here. Okay, let's go to another page. All right. One last skill we're going to practice before we're done. I need for you to listen for the p sound. What letter makes that sound? Right, P. I'll read, you listen. I learned to nap from my friend the crocodile. Did you hear it? Which word has the p? Yes, nap. Great work today. Tell someone in your house a p word before you're done. See you later.